All right, everyone. Welcome. I am a few minutes early. I'm just signing in, getting the comments loaded. So if you're out there in YouTube land or Facebook VIP group, I'm going to adjust my camera, so just bear with me. I always have to wait until I get it situated. Make sure that you let me know that you're out there. And if you're new to my channel, if you're on my YouTube channel and you're new to that, please make sure that you subscribe and click the button so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. And also, I have just started offering memberships to my YouTube channel, which allows you to purchase small little benefits where you get shout outs and private video, private live video chats, various different things, tutorials emailed to you. But you can take a look at the membership section and see what that's all about. And then also I have super chats, which if you're somebody that has a comment and you'd like to pay and I'm not sure it offers whatever YouTube does. Once you click it on, you can determine how much you want to pay. And if you want to have it at the top of the list, you'll get a shout out and all of this other crazy stuff. So just wanted to let you know that I just set that up a couple of days ago, and I do have a video explaining all of that as well. So welcome everybody. I'm a few minutes early, so I'll sit here and wait to those that for everyone to come on, and then I'll do my introduction, and then we will get started with our Curvy Gatefold card. So I'll just sit here and wait for y'all and try to keep myself busy. But I have a fun fold. It really is an easy fun fold card. Oh, I got to get my pieces together. So, but yeah, so this is going to be a fun card. Let me, that's for, ooh, what is this? Oh, that's for our inside. I'm talking to myself. I got to get my pencil because we've got to do some penciling. All right. So I will wait, and today is Fundamentals Friday. So every other Friday I do techniques, and then next Saturday is my creation anticipation, where we will do a sketch, and the idea is for you to use your supplies that you have at home, use the sketch that I provide, and use that to create a card. And we'll be doing that on my Facebook page as well as YouTube. So I would like, hopefully, that if you create cards in advance or that day or the next day, post it to my Facebook page, and or you can post. I don't know if you can post it to Facebook to YouTube or not, but if you can, either way, I'll give you a shout out. And you never know, you might get some happy mail for doing that. We'll see how that goes. So I've got lots of papers and things that I can, that I will not be using once they retire. So I might be sending out some packages of, I shouldn't say packages, but probably some sheets of designer paper that you can use, or pattern paper. So just keep that in mind. And in the meantime, just we'll wait. It's right at 12, so I'm going to give it a couple of minutes for those to join us. And this is going to be recorded, so if you're not able to make it live, then you can watch it from the replay. And if you are watching from the replay, welcome. So I'll shout that out to you now, and then I'll get started here in probably in about 2 minutes or so. We'll wait for everyone to pop in, and then we'll start. And it's Friday, December 1st at 12:01. Can you believe we're already at the beginning of December? Seems like we were just doing this. Well, we were last year. So, oh my gosh, a lot has happened this past year, and more to come. So we'll see. Alrighty, I'm going to give it another minute. It's 12:02. I'm going to give it one more minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and start. If you happen to join me while we're live and you're a little late, then you'll just go back and watch the replay for anything that you might have missed. This is going to be a fun card. It's really simple once you sit down and look at how to create the template and all that stuff. So this should be fun. All right, so I'm going to give it another 30 seconds, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And we'll see if anybody's going to join us today. There may be people out there that are what I call my hidden friends that kind of stay in the background, which is, I'm the same way. I do the same thing. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, and then we'll get started. I'm Dawn Duvall. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I've been doing this for about 12 years, and I live in Fort Myers, Florida, where today it actually is going to be 80 degrees. We've had a cold spell the last 2 days. Cold for us is like 55, 56 in the 60s. That's cold. For you guys that are out up north or out west, you're probably Midwest, you're probably thinking, oh, that's nothing, I wear shorts. So anyways, I'm in the Fort Myers area. I love creating cards, and I love sharing this paper crafting craziness with others. And I like to do fun folds, and I try to keep them very simple. Some are a little bit more technical than others. But if you're just joining and you're a new stamper, then reach out to me. You can reach me at my email or leave me a Facebook message. You can go to my blog, which is shallwestamp.com, and I have a lot of information on there as well. Hi, Wanda. It's not warm here. I figured you're in Pennsylvania. It's got to be cold. So, oh my goodness. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started, and those that are popping in will just come in and have to catch up. So, again, I'm Dawn Duvall, and let me go ahead and I'm going to flip the camera down. Now, what we're going to do is, this is called a gatefold. Now, this was my first one I've done, so it is a little, you can see it's a little sketchy the way I've done it, but I'll give you some tips to do it so it doesn't look like a first grader, okay? So, all right. Now we're going to create a template to do this, so you don't have to have a die or anything. And this one I used the Cheerful Daisies. Cheerful Daisies. Yes, Cheerful Daisies stamp set and dies. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to put this off to the side, and I'm going to show you an easier way that we're going to make this the template. So the first thing you want to do is just take, I just took a piece of scrap paper. You can use copy paper, whatever you have, and you want to cut it to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's going to be 4 1/4 this way, well, either way, and then this way is 5 1/2. So scratch that. This is going to be 5 1/2. Okay. Now, so what we want to do is you want to measure out and find the center mark. So at 4 1/4, I marked it at 2 1/8, and then you want to draw a line all the way down the center, and then turn your piece of paper, and then we're going to line this up, and this is 5 1/2. So we want to do half of that. So that's going to be 2 3/4. So what I normally do with my ruler is I make a little mark here, and then I make one at the bottom, and then I just set my ruler up and then draw the line. So we want to have this as our template. All right, so the next thing that you want to do, because we're going to make a curvy one, is you want to find some type of an oval that you can use. So this one is from the retired, it's one of our retired sets. It's the only oval that I actually, a couple ovals, the only one that I have. So what I'm going to do is you can draw around the outside if you want to have a bigger. So if we center this, and I'm just going to eyeball it and just kind of hold it in place, you can do it on the outside, which just means you're going to have less cardstock over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center it. I'm going to do the inside of my oval. Now, to keep it from moving around, we'll use some Post-it tape that is where you can tap it down and it doesn't, rip up your paper. All right, so I'm going to move this up just so that the oval, I'm going to have it right here. We're going to do 2 ovals, okay? So I'm going to, oops, I can't put that there because I got to do it this way. because I gotta draw lines on the inside. I'm gonna do the inside. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the inside of my circle. So I'm just gonna take my pencil and I'm just gonna draw a line, get my tape out of the way, draw a line on the inside, okay? All right, so I've got that, and now what I'm gonna do, I've got one here, and then I'm moving this down, and I'm gonna do the same thing down here, all right? So we're just gonna make a circle, or an oval, I should say. All right, so that's pretty simple, right? So that's all you have to do for that. Now, the next thing that we're gonna do then is we're gonna start cutting around the circle to give it our oval piece that we want to create our curvy gatefold. You can start at either end. So I'm just going to take my scissors. Now this one I probably should have moved it up, but I should be able to get to that one and come in. So I'm just going to start cutting around where the oval is. All right, so we're just going to cut around. Now I'm going to go up when I get to this part here, and I'm going to attach into this oval. And what it's going to allow us to do is it's going to give us half an oval on one side, and then we're going to have a half an oval on the other side. Does that make sense? So I'm going to go ahead and keep going around. I'll cut this one off right here. Okay, so I'm going to just trim that one right there off. And then I'm going to come in with this one. All right, we don't need to cut that one. All right, so if you see what I got, so there's my thing, and that's how we're going to make our card. So that's going to give us our, and we only need 1, 2, and you can flip them. All right, so that's what we need for our template to make our card, okay? And then we're going to, I'm going to set this off to the side, and we're going to bring in a piece of cardstock. This is Bubble Bath with Stampin' Up, and we're going to cut this down to 5.5 inches by 10, okay? So we're going to cut it at 5.5, and then we're going to turn this and cut it at 10 inches. So let me get my arm out, and we're going to move this down and cut this at 10, and then we're going to do a couple scores. All right, so we've got that at the 10, and we'll go ahead and cut that off there, and you can keep those and use as extra pieces for whatever. All right, so 5.5 this way, and then 10 inches here. So now we're going to score at 2 7/8, and we're going to do it on both ends. So I'm going to go 2 3/4 and then move over 2 lines to get to the 2 7/8. And I want to make sure that I've got my paper straight up and down this way. So we want to make sure it's even. So I'm going to score that. And then the easiest thing is just to flip it over and do it again on this side. And then what that's going to do is give us in the center a 4 1/4 section for our card. So let me move the paper trimmer out of the way because I don't need to use that right at the moment. All right, so there, we're going to fold these in. All right, and we're going to burnish this. Let me get my bone folder in here. All right, and then we're going to fold this one in. So this is the gatefold. This is the gatefold part, okay? All right, so there's our gatefold, and if I take out my ruler, then we are at 4 1/4 in the center, and then our 2 7/8 on each side. All right, so what we want to do now is we're going to take our template. Now you can decide if you want it up here, you know, if you want your curvy thing over here. I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to put my template like, let me think about this. If I want it on this one, let's see, I've got that one. Oh, let's do it on this one. I'm going to put it on this side here because this is going to be my left side. So when I open this, I want the curve to be on this side here, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place my template over, because it's going to go top, it's going to go top to bottom, but I want to cut the oval. I'm going to bring it over. There's my score line. I'm going to bring it over about maybe 1/4 inch, because I want to get this, but I want to have that curve there to come in, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. Now, what I'm going to do, let me get this thing set here. I think I want it just like that. I'm going to put a little bit of tape on it to hold it in place, because I'm going to draw a line around this as well. Because when I did it on the other card, and you can see it wasn't very pretty, okay? Because I cut with the paper right there. So I'm just going to draw a pencil mark, and we can erase that, or you can flip the card inside, either way. So I'm just going to trace this around to give me where, now this is where I've got to cut, right? So I'm just going to lightly draw my pencil mark, and it doesn't, you know, it's, so this is what you're going to trace, right? And we'll come like that. All right, so that's what we're going to do on that side, and then I'm going to lift this up, and then I'm going to trim that off in just a second. All right, now, since I've got the big part there, I want this one, you can see I used a piece of paper. This one I want, because I want this one to close, so I need my opening up here, right? So again, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to get it edge to edge, and I'm going to move this over about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to tape it down just like I did the other one. And then we get to do this again with our designer paper too. All right, so I'm going to, actually, so I'm going to turn this because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to hold it down, and then I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to bring a line here, and I'm just going to draw around this template. You probably can't see my hands in the way. So I'm going to draw around the template. All right, and then that's what we're going to cut. Okie doke. And then we're going to do the same thing with our designer paper. But first we're going to do this. So now I'm just going to cut this, and hopefully I can get it to cut and not look. I think this is a lot easier to do it this way than when I did it trying to cut it. And if you have bigger scissors, that might be helpful too. But instead of me trying to cut it, I was trying to hold the paper, and that wasn't working. So it wasn't allowing me to get that good smooth curve. Let me get in the camera, which I should have had, and I didn't. Okay, so there's that. It doesn't look too bad. And then we'll come in, whoopsie. We'll come in and do the same thing with this one. So I'm just going to start off the card, and then I'm just going to come in. And we don't really, actually, we don't even need to erase this because this is going to be covered up with our paper. So we get to do this one more time. We're going to cut paper to go over top of this, okay? So we just want to get this cut. That's why, and I have large scissors, but I use those for ribbons, so I don't use those for my cutting on cardstock. All right, so there's my thing. All right, so that's trash. Now, when we flip it over, you can see now how it's going to close, okay? All right, and if you want to clean it up, you can. That's fine, no big deal. All right, now we're going to bring in, and we're going to do the same thing to our paper, okay? So I am going to, I got to think about this. Yeah, because I might have to flip I think if I do it on this side, I'm going to do one on this side. Because I think if I do it this way, oh, I need to cut this. Let me cut this down to 5.5. Let me cut this to 5.5 first. Because this is at 6 inches. So let's cut this down to 5.5. All right, so we're going to get rid of one piece there. All right, now I'm going to do one side. I think it should work because if I do that, so if I do it on this side, that's going to put my template, which would go, I'd have to flip it around and go that way. So that's fine. I think I'm going to do it on this side. So I'm just going to tape this. Now, again, I'm going to bring this off just a little bit because I want to, oh, wait a minute, I got to get it this way because I cut this one off. I want to give it, I'm going to do another quarter, like a 1/4 inch off. I'm just going to eyeball it. We can trim it off later because I want this, well, actually, no, let's just cover up the whole thing. We won't leave a gap. Let's just leave it like that. All right, so we're just going to do like this. We're not going to do that. So let's go ahead and we're going to cut. We're going to go ahead and draw it on the paper. All right. I know it's a lot of pencil drawing. Whoops. Got my fingernail in the way. Hang on. Well, I can fix that. No big deal. All right. And then we're going to flip it around. We'll take this one. And we're going to go ahead and do that one. Let me flip my paper because that would be easier. Yeah, because we want this up here. All right. So, actually, let me use this one because we want this one to be different. So, I'm going to leave it lined up. And then we will trim this again. So we've got one coming out here, and this one's going to go in. So that's going to work. So again, I'm going to start right here and just come around and do my outline, and you can see that. And you don't have to do the, you can always dot it, whatever works for you. But it should work. If you've got a steady hand, it should cut out pretty easily. So let me set that there, and then let's go ahead and trim off. Hopefully we got this right. Now I'm going to use the back side of this paper, so I don't care if the pencil is showing, because I'm going to use the bubbles on the circles on the outside. That's real colorful. Okay, and we're just going to come around. I'm trying to keep it so it doesn't look like, and we'll just trim it like that. So I have one piece there, and then we'll come in. I'll start at this one, and we'll come here, and then we're going to do the other one. So again, I'm just going to follow the little curvy line on the designer paper, and you can pencil it on the side that you want to show. The only difference is we'll flip these, and so they'll just go on, you know, it'll work. I did it, the first two I did, I cut it not like this, I cut it the other way. I'm going to trim that little piece off right there. Okay. All right, so that's, we're not using that one. Okay, so here's our base, right? So I want one of these pieces. Whoopsie. All right, so look what, all right, watch. So see how my paper, because I did it backwards. So look, we're going to flip this around, and now they'll work this way. So I have this piece here is going to go here. Now I'm going to glue it on here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up trimming it off because it's a little bit longer, which is okay. And then this one, so if it doesn't look like it's going to fit, then just turn your cardstock upside down, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on, and then we're going to flip it over, and if it's not lined up exactly, then I'm going to go ahead and just trim it up, okay? So that's what we're going to, how we're going to attach these. So I'm going to put some adhesive on here. And I just thought this was a cute way of, I mean, I know there's dies out there, but, you know, sometimes we can't afford to buy all the dies, right? But we want to make something that's cute. And so this is just another way that you can do it. All right. So let's put that on here. And then I'm lining this right up to the score line. And then we're just going to go back in and trim off any excess that we're showing, which is not going to be a problem at all. We'll just flip it over. All right, so we've got that one on there, and let's go ahead and glue this one down, and then we'll go back and trim whatever we need to trim. I just thought this is just such a, I love doing fun folds because they're different, and it really does give people that wow, you know, like, oh my gosh, how did you make that card, you know? And I got glue on there. I should be using my craft mat, silicone mat. Sometimes I don't think to, all right, so we're going to get that right there, and I may have to trim a little bit off the, right here on the cardstock, but that's fine. All right, so there we go with that, and I'll trim that little piece off right there. Let me put this over here because I got glue on it. Now see how this one I've got, for whatever reason, this one was cut a lot bigger. I'm not sure how that happened, but that's okay. Oh, probably because, I don't know. So we're just going to come in. I might have cut it, a little different on the card when I did the card itself. I think I put the template off a little bit, but that's okay. So we're just going to cut around. Had I known that, I wouldn't put all that glue on here, but that's okay. We're just going to get it all the way around, and just have to take your time. All right, so there's that one. That little piece right there is not going to hurt anything. All right, and then here, I've got a little piece right here, so I'm going to go ahead and just bring him up, and then we're going to trim this off. Get that off my thing. And we'll just come around and just trim off the paper. So this is, so if you like fussy cutting, then you'll enjoy doing this. This is not something I enjoy doing, but it's okay. I don't mind doing it once in a while. It's not something I want to do all the time. But again, I thought this was a unique card, and if you can get it cut without making it look like, you know, a child. Hang on, there we go. Let me get this little piece right here. There we go. All right, so this is going to be all trash. Let's put that in the trash can. All right, let's see how we're looking. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, now I've got this little piece right here. So I'm just going to go in, just go in and make any, little areas that need to be adjusted. That's fine to do. This one, I got a little bit of pink sticking out. So I can trim it if I want, and I think I'll just snip that off. And I think that looks fine. And then there's our card, so we can flip it like that. Let's see, which way do we want it? I guess we'll do it like this. Okay, so that's our card. So now we're going to decorate it, right? So we've got everything on here that we need. We've got our paper, and now we're going to decorate. Now, I have pulled a few items from the, this is the paper that I'm using, is the Bright and Beautiful 6x6 designer paper. And they also have a Memories and More kit that coordinates with this set. So with that, we are able to, I'm just moving some stuff out of the way. I'm going to use this here because I'm going to cut this out. And then because we've got these circles, we're going to make this a birthday card. Oh, well, it's going to be a celebration, so I'm going to make it a birthday. And then I'm going to pull in some of these balloons that we have here. And I think that's going to work. So keep in mind that these Memory and More cards that we have. Hey, Karen. These Memory and More cards that we have are designed for scrapbooking, but they work perfect for making cards. So if you want to make a lot of cards, it comes with like 3x5 cards and 4x6s, and you can make all sorts of cards, or you can use them for scrapbooking, or a combination of both. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to take and make every day a celebration. So I'm going to use our 2 3/8 circle punch. And I'm going to come in and just cut this into a circle. So I'm just going to get it kind of centered. And it's got a lot of that little confetti right there. Whoops. Got to be careful. And let's see if we got that. All right, let me pull it down just a little bit. And we can add some stuff to this if we want. All right, so I'm not going to use, well, you could actually use that if you wanted. So I'm going to use this. And then, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop that right there. Now, I'm thinking we need to have some paper underneath. So I think we should use, what if we do a piece of the Berry Burst cardstock? That's very similar to the ink, it looks like. So let me grab a piece of Berry Burst. Give me 1 second. Because this wasn't, I really wasn't sure what I was going to make. So we're going to figure it out as we go. And this is not normally how I work. I don't normally just do stuff on the, because sometimes I don't do well at this when I'm making stuff on the go. Actually, so 2 3/8. So we really want to use like a 2 1/2, right? Let's see if that's gonna 2 3/8. Yeah, let's do the 2 1/2 and see if that's gonna fit. So we're gonna punch this out. Okay. So we're just kind of, I'm just kind of going as we go, making it up as I go. All right, so that fits. Oh, perfect. And then that I'm going to put right there. Now, do we want to put, I'm trying to think, we need to dress this up. So I put some, maybe I should put some twine underneath it, or let me think about that. Let me go ahead and glue this part down. And let's see, maybe we'll add a little bit of ribbon to give it some, oh, I know. Let's do it, yeah, let's put some ribbon and give it some long strands coming down like streamers. So let's see, hang on a minute, see what we got in here. We have, what is this color? Oh, but this is Sweet Sorbet. I don't know if that's going to look right. What do y'all think? Does that look right, or should we do a different color? I'm not sure about that. I'm still thinking, so give me a second here. We may end up just doing, oh, you know what? Why don't we use these colors right here? Huh, we got some ribbon, and that's going to go with those colors. Look at that. So we'll just put some, ribbons on this. So we'll tie some ribbons to make it look like banners, and we'll have like streamers, I guess. So let's just do that. I think that'll work better. All right, so let me just cut a snip of each one of these, and I can trim it up. So let me just cut some off of here so we can get this out of the way. And this is a Lemon Lobby, the baby, good Lord, Bubble Bath, and then the Azure Afternoon, the blue. And that kind of coordinates with our colors. Maybe not so much with this blue, but that's all right. We'll make it work. Right? Who cares? It's a birthday. It's a celebration of some form or fashion. All right, so why don't we do that? Let's have some streamers. Because see, I can put streamers, and then we'll tighten them up. We won't make them look so long. So we'll just glue those and pop that down, and they'll be hanging down, and we'll trim it up. I think that'll look nice. I'm going to put the blue in the center. Let's see how we want to do this. Let's do some seal, because that's going to be heavier to hold onto the ribbon. And then I'm going to put this one in the center, the blue one, because the other two are lighter colors. So let's put him in the middle, and then I'll adjust, and then we'll trim it as we need to. And then I'll pop this up on dimensionals. And then we'll put the baby, I don't know why I want to call this baby, bubble bath. Bubble bath. All right, we'll put the bubble bath in here, and then we'll trim them up so they're not quite so long. And then this is lemon lolly, and we'll plop that one right about. Yeah, that'll look nice. Will it hang right there? Maybe I need to put them closer. Hang on, let me put them a little bit closer so that we can get them to hang. And then we'll just adjust the length. Yeah, what do you think about that? I'll just cut them down a little bit shorter. All right, so let's do that, and we'll put some dimensionals on the back. Now I'm going to use up my scraps that I have sitting here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop dimensionals down. So as I've said before, make sure you always use up your scraps, because these are good pieces to use, you know. And then I'm going to put, obviously I'm going to put one there, and we'll put one in the center. I don't like to waste. All right, so let's see. All right, so if we put that there, we can just cut these down. I'll just cut them like at an angle, and then they can just kind of hang. And then we'll do something over here. We might put some balloons. Okay, so let's try that. Let's just go ahead and trim. So you can tell. All right, so let's see. How do we want to do this? We'll just trim these up. I'll just do different levels of them. And let's see, we'll do him a little bit. I might have to come back. Let's see. I love these scissors. Okay. All right, I don't think that looks too bad. Should I shrink those up a little bit? We can turn it. I probably should trim them up so they're not all the same length. What do you think? I think that looks fine. Now see this one, if you look at this one, I cut this one much bigger than I did this one, because I set the paper on further back, and so that gave me a bigger curve. This one I didn't. So, and I've got another one I'll show you that I did too. So keep that in mind. You can adjust how big you want this thing based on how we cut it, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel these off and put this right here. And then I think I'm gonna take some of those balloons that we have and put those on the other side. And then I'm also going to do a sentiment. I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to put this right here. I think that looks cute. Now this is a lot bigger. I really didn't want it that big, but it's okay. Because you know what? Nobody knows what this thing is supposed to look like. Because at this point, I don't even know what it's supposed to look like. All right, so we are going to cut us a stamp of sentiment. And let me grab that, and then I'll grab some balloons, and then we may add some twine to that. So let me grab a scrap of white paper. Hold on a minute. How big is that? Bear with me. Oh, gosh. All right, we'll have to do some trimming, but that's okay. All right, we're going to stamp, because you totally deserve it. This says, make every day a celebration, and then this part's going to say, because you totally deserve it. And what this is going to do, I'm going to lay that on here and use it to hold that closed, okay? So I'm going to put this on here, and then we're going to end up cutting this down. And I'll use some of that paper, the Berry Burst, and we'll make a banner behind it. And then I have it. Oh, I have a star that, oh, my star just fell off on my other card. Okay, so let's cut this down. All right, give me a minute. So I'll go over what I did, and then you'll have to come back if you've just joined us to watch the replay. And I got that on there crooked, don't I? I do. Let's let me restamp that. I just realized that it's kind of crooked, so it's probably because it's on my thing crooked. I'm going to re-ink this. Give me a second. Isn't it nice to see that we all make mistakes? I shouldn't say it's a mistake, but you know, sometimes it's hard to get things just. I'm going to put my head in here for just a second so I can see if it's straight. It might be. I have this on here crooked. Yeah, that looks much better. That's much better. Okay, now we'll cut this. So we're going to bring this down. And we're going to cut, let me cut this off first. And I think that'll probably be good. All right, let me just cut this down. Try to get it, what is that going to be at? We'll do 1 3/4. Nope, let's do 1 inch. Make sure it's going to fit. Hang on a minute. Let's get it lined up at the 1 inch mark. That should be right. Okay, this is the trash one. All right, this one's a little too big, so let me bring it down again. It's a little too wide for me. So let's trim that off. Okay, oh, that looks better. All right, and then, actually, I know I'm being a little picky here, but I don't want my sentiment, the white, to be too much because we're going to put it on a piece of Berry Burst. So I'm going to get this down. Okay, so this is at 2.5 inches. Okay, so that's 2.5 by like 3. We'll do 1 inch on the other one. So 2.5 by 1. So let's bring in our Berry Burst. Hang on a second. I'm trying to pick it up. All right, so we want 2.5 by, what did I say, 1 inch. Let's do 1 inch. We'll go a little, no, let's just do 1. And we'll cut that. Hopefully this will fit. And then this should be 2.5. We want to cut that down to, let's start at 3/4. We may cut it down a little bit more. Do y'all do this? Do y'all have to sit there and measure all your stuff? I do. I just want to make sure I get it right, right? All right, so that looks good, but I'm going to trim this down, the Berry Burst, because it's a little bit too big. So let's cut this down. I have it at 1. I'm just going to shave like a little hair piece off, okay? So I'm just going to hopefully lay that straight, and we're just going to trim off a little bit right there. And then we're going to trim it down. Yeah, that's better. And then I'm going to trim this down a little bit more. And I'm going to start short, longer, because I don't want to cut too much off. I know, a lot of time goes into this. All right, that'll be fine. That's going to look good. All right, so there we are with that. So let's put this off. Whoopsie, knocking things over. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to add this to our card. Glue him on here. And then this is going to get popped up. No, I think we'll lay this down flat, and then we'll use a balloon to be our holding mechanism when we get there. All right, so we're going to take, and I think we'll do that, probably put this at an angle to hold this down, but we still need something up here, right? So maybe we'll do some balloons. So I'm going to go ahead and, let me think about this, because we want, I'm going to glue this down flat, and then I'll pop something up here. Let me think of how that's going to, yeah, I think I'm going to glue this down flat. So I'm just going to do half, like this much. I'm not going to do a whole lot because I don't want it too far, right? So I'm going to put this one up like that. And, okay, so we're going to go like that for now. And then I've got this, whoops. Now I've got this little balloon here, and I'm not sure if this one is going to work. Actually, you know what? I don't want that color. Let's go with this one. We got one that matches, so let's, well, that's if it wants to, whoops, it doesn't want to come. Oh, this is a whole threesome. Never mind. How about if we do the pink one? We could do the bubble bath, if I can get it off the paper. And we could put that right here underneath to hold this down. So let's put a dimensional on here. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. 1 1/4 So the card's not that hard to cut. It's now trying to figure out what we're doing. So I'm going to use this as the locking mechanism. So I'm just going to set this right off to the side, but enough to where it's going to hold it shut. All right, so see how I did that? All right, and then we've got some other balloons. So let's just kind of decorate this side because it looks kind of naked, don't you think? So let's we'll do a blue, and we've got a pink. We could do a green. Well, let's do a blue. How are we going to do this? We'll put the blue one. We can just put this down, and I could put some string hanging from it. Let me think about this. This guy could look like, well, maybe we'll just do it like that. Okay, let me get some twine, and we'll do some white twine. Hang on, I'm walking over to my desk to get the white twine. And I'm just going to add that to the back. This has already got adhesive to it, and then we're just going to make a couple. We'll just put a tail. We'll maybe make 2 tails. And then I'll attach this with a dimensional, and we'll pop that up. So we'll just put that on here. We'll put one here, and then I'll trim these down. All right, so we'll make it look like it's got some strings hanging off the balloon. Move that one over. All right, and then I'll show you the other card that I made yesterday as well. Let me trim this and trim that one. It is an interesting card. Welcome for joining, and I'll go over this in just a minute if you're just joining. So we're going to put a dimensional on here. Now this one, and I'll show you the other ones that I made, so you'll see the difference in the size of the opening between the curve. So you'll know how you can do with that, or you can get it closer. All right, so let's just stick a balloon like kind of right there, just so we don't have so much excess space. And let's just trim one of these guys up and move him over just a tad. And if you're just joining this part, I'm using some of the Memory and More sets that coordinate with the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper. That's 6x6 paper. So I just wanted I use some of those. All right, so this is what I came up with for the card, and this one, and I'll show you in just a minute for those that just joined. This one has a larger space for our curve. Now and I'll show you how this one I set the paper back a little bit, so that forced it to for me to cut it to give it a wider range. I put a balloon right here to hold it shut. So then we open it, and then we're going to add our piece of white cardstock, and we are also going to put a piece of the paper to coordinate on the bottom, because you know we have to have everything coordinate, right? Or we can put it on the side. Let's put it on the side. Let's live on the edge. So let me go ahead and add this, and then we'll just trim this off. All right, so we'll take that, and we'll just add that to the right side, or you can put it on the left or the bottom, whichever you prefer. I always like to decorate the inside of my cards. I know I don't normally stamp a sentiment because I always like to write my own. So that just makes it look nice, and you can flip it either way if you want it on this side. I think I'll do that side. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere this down, and then we're going to also decorate our envelope, because you know we have a lot of most of us have a lot of designer paper. Oh, don't tell me this. Oh, I picked up the wrong one. No wonder. I got 2 over here. One in my little holder that Karen gave me, and then one in this other holder, and I picked up the wrong one. Should pick up the one that was in the one that Karen gave me. Okay, so since we normally have a lot of designer paper or pattern paper, then we need to start using it. So the best way, one of the ways is to decorate our envelopes, and I'll show you that in just a minute. All right, so this is this curvy card here. So make every day a celebration. I added that balloon because you totally deserve it, and then this guy's going to hold that shut, and then when you open it, you can have your message written on the inside. Okay? All right, so now we're going to do our envelope, and then I'll show you the other cards that I made, so to give you an idea of how different they look based on how you cut the template. All right, so we're going to put some seal on our envelope. I normally cut my paper at at 2 3/8. It, this is good. This one's starting to rewind itself. I cut it at 2 3/8 just so I don't have a lot of waste. And, well, this guy's not going to cooperate, is he? All right, hang on. I'm going to have to do little smoochy marks here. And if this tape, this is a seal. If it falls over, you can just roll it back up because it does cut it in every, I don't know if it's a 1/4 inch. It's a small amount. And then we're just going to set this on here. I wanted the stripes, so we're going to add this. And this is 2 3/8, so it gives me just enough on each side of the envelope. And glue it down, and then we'll trim this off. And I could have used the circles, but I thought, well, you know, why not just use the same colors, and we'll just do the stripes. So we're just going to cut all of this off. All right. So there is a beautiful decorated card and our coordinating envelope. And I'm going to tuck that little sentiment right under there. And there is that card. Isn't that cute? So and it's all in how you want to make it look. The sentiment is from the Charming Sentiments that's in the annual catalog with Stampin' Up. It really does. I'll bring it up closer. It really does have some great sentiments. And this is a photopolymer. There's 17 stamps in here. And then this was created by Lisa Curcio, one of the $1 Million earners. So Charming Sentiments. I love this. So that's something I like to use all the time. All right, so there's that card. Now keep in mind how this, and I'll go back and show for those that just joined. I'll just give you a quick, you can go back and watch, but I'll give you a quickie on the template. This is the one that I did the other day, and my first one. And as I mentioned, what you'll do is you're going to take a 4.5 by 4 1/4 piece of copy paper or whatever, okay? And you're going to mark your 4 1/4. You're going to mark it in half at the top, and then on the sides at 2 3/4. And then what you want to do is find an oval. And the oval, I'm using a retired one. And what I did, and it just depends on how much of the cardstock you want to cut away. So I penciled in the inside of the circle. I taped this down, and then I just did an outline on the inside of each of these circles. Then take your paper snips, and you're just going to start cutting along each, and then you get the 2 templates, okay? Now, what you did, in my case, and then you'll do the same thing on your designer paper. So if you line this up on your card, and you line it up exactly, butting it up to the score line, then you're going to pencil this, you're going to cut along the paper. Tape it down and cut along the paper. When you do it that way, that's going to give you the smaller area between here and there, okay? When I first did this, I traced, which I don't recommend, and go back and watch. I initially laid this here and I traced around the paper, which was really a pain in the you-know-what. So I didn't trace it, I'm sorry. I held the paper, taped it down, and tried to cut along, and that didn't work, and that's why this one looks kind of chopped up, right? So just lay it down, tape it, outline it with your pencil, and then take it off and cut it with your scissors. It makes it a lot easier to do it that way, and add the card upside down. And then you can decorate it however you want. So that's what I would do. Now then you're going to take the template and you're going to lay it on your designer paper and do the same thing. Now I colored, I put this on my paper with my design that I wanted upside down. So I had my design facing the table. So when I cut it, the image was reversed. So if you find that it doesn't fit on this, just take your card before you add this and flip it around, and then you'll have it open a different way. Okay, so see, this one will be over here opposed to being on the left-hand side. So if you find that your designer paper is not fitting, just fold your cardstock opposite direction, okay? So then here's another one that I did yesterday. Now this one, I moved it out just a little bit more. You can see I've got a bigger piece here, right? And I put the designer paper, instead of bringing it to the edge, I left a small border on the side. So that forced me to I cut a little bit further in. So I have a little bit bigger curve opening than I do on this one. This one is completely just cut it where the curve went and you have a slighter amount. And this one, when I did this one, I held the paper, I pushed it back on the card. So I laid my designer paper back over here about 1/4 of an inch, and I cut that way. So that gave me a wider track, if you will. Does that make sense? So if you missed it, just go back and watch the video and you'll see the step-by-step process that I worked through. But it really is a pretty interesting, once you get the hang of getting it to cut, and as you can see, and I'll show you how I did, since I tried to trace this and cut it along the paper, the copy paper, you can see it wasn't that good of a cut because I was trying to hold and all that. And then this one, I laid it down and penciled it and then went ahead and cut it out. So it makes it a lot easier and you get smoother cuts that way. So there you go. That is the Curvy Gatefold. I just think it's a neat way to do a card. And then if you've got such a large opening, then just use something to hold your sentiment in place, like I did here. I've got the star holding this one. I got the balloon. And then this one, I've just left it where, if I burnish this some more, it's going to open up a little bit just because of the weight. But that's fine. And then it can stand up and your person can put it on a table. All right, so I hope y'all enjoyed that. Let me know, leave me some comments. If you make this card, please share a copy of your card. I'd love to see what you do. All right, that is it for the day. So thank you all for joining me. I greatly appreciate it this Friday afternoon. And next Tuesday is my weekly Facebook Live. So I'll be on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then next Saturday is my creation anticipation. And that's where I will post a sketch. And I will post that in my Facebook page, Shall We Stamp. And we're going to use that sketch to create a card. And if you create cards in advance, then I would love to have you post them so that we can see what everybody does. All right, everyone, thank you so much. If I can help you with anything, please let me know. Again, I'm Dawn Duvall, and I'm in Fort Myers, Florida. So thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you hopefully on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.